and it's very hard. Mr. Rodrigues, this is a horror. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
They were literally dismembering these people inside that penthouse condo.
They're nuts.
They just bang, they hit it off. One feeds the other's ego.
This is Ben and Erica Sifrit. They exchange vows to love, cherish, and murder. Benjamin and Erica Sifrit were joined together in unholy matrimony. By all accounts, the 23-year-old seemed to be a typical middle-class married couple set to succeed in anything they wanted to do in life. After all, Benjamin was a former Navy SEAL who was #1 in his class. Erica graduated with a bachelor's degree in history and political science from Mary Washington College and was a high school basketball star hoping to go pro. They met in her senior year of college. 3 weeks later, the lovers eloped to Vegas. She's deliriously happy about their quickie wedding, and in her scrapbook, Erica exclaims, "Best decision I have ever made." In another excerpt, she writes, "You are my sunshine." Here they're dressed to the nines for a dinner cruise. Through rose-colored glasses, the newlyweds appear to be the all-American couple. But dark secrets fueled their marriage. The seemingly upstanding former Navy SEAL had actually been court-martialed for going AWOL and insubordination. His life in a downward spiral after getting booted out of the military. Erica's petite size dashes her hoop dreams of turning pro. She opens her own scrapbook store, indulges in prescription drugs, and in another, rather bizarre infatuation.
Erica develops an obsession with Hooters memorabilia. They both begin to break into Hooters all over the place.
The Sifrits were always looking for another thrill to keep the party going. Now they're about to up the ante and get their kicks by killing. It was here in this freewheeling party town of Ocean City, Maryland, boasting breathtaking vistas of the Atlantic Ocean, that Erica and Benjamin Sifrit were about to play out their ultimate sick fantasy. The couple lock in on their prey, insurance executive Martha Jenny Crutchley and her boyfriend Joshua Ford, a mortgage banker. At this party bar called Secrets, they're lured back to the Sifrits' luxury penthouse with promises of a good time.
They start to have a party at Secrets. They say, you know what? Why don't you come up to the condo with us? We'll continue this party after the bar closes. We got a hot tub, we got some weed, we'll have a couple of drinks, and we'll get to know each other.
And the raw evil of the Sifrits was about to explode.
What happens next is a horror show.
Music is playing, and the drinks are flying, and they're in the hot tub. They're having a ball, and something happens. Erica gets out of the hot tub, she goes upstairs, and she screams. She says, "Where's my pocketbook? Somebody took my pocketbook." Right away, Benjamin Sifrit gets up out of the tub, and he goes to get his .357 Magnum, and he points it. He starts waving it around, saying, "Where's my wife's pocketbook? Which one of you took it?" All they're doing is messing with these people. That's what they're doing. They're playing a game. It's another thrill for Ben and Erica. Now the true horror begins. Joshua and Jeannie runs into the bathroom and slams the door shut, but Erica smells blood. She leans around from the balcony where she can see the couple cowering through the bathroom window. The Sifrits are a tsunami of evil. Nothing can stop them now.
Really, Erica and Ben at this point have gone out of their minds. They're locked in this game, this thrill ride that they want to go on. And the two victims in all of this are in the bathroom. Eric looks in the bathroom to tell Ben when to fire the weapon. Ben fires the weapon, and it goes right through Joshua's head and drops him immediately.
Then kicks in the door. Jeannie Crutchley is crouching under the vanity. She's terrified. Her lover, the man that she lives with, has been shot dead. Her pleas for mercy wasn't enough. The psycho killers cut her down. The thrill-kill couple was now facing the task of getting rid of the evidence. 2 bloody bodies in their penthouse with no place to hide them. The Sifrits come up with a plan to remove their victims, piece by piece.
They were literally dismembering these people inside that penthouse condo.
The body parts are put in garbage bags and carted down to their Jeep Cherokee. They cross from Maryland into Delaware and dispose of Jenny and Joshua body parts in dumpsters that wind up in this massive Delaware landfill. The maniacal couple takes a break to smile for a selfie only hours after this slaughter. Look closely at this one, right there. Hanging from the chain around Erica's neck is Joshua's ring, still caked in his own blood. While the Sifrits are snapping selfies around town, friends of Jenny and Joshua are starting to worry and wonder what happened to them. They vanished and the cops are frantically trying to find them.
The Ocean City Police Department wasted no time printing out flyers and posting them all over this beach town.
While cops are desperately searching, Erica and Benjamin are covering their tracks. Here he is buying a new bathroom door at Home Depot to replace the one destroyed by a bullet hole. They also grab cleaning supplies to scrub away the ocean of blood in the bathroom. These monsters are convinced cops will never connect them to the disappearance of Jeannie Crutchley and Joshua Ford. And if that's not enough, Erica keeps a scrapbook of their evil handiwork, boasting they are the modern-day Bonnie and Clyde, showing off souvenirs of their crimes.
They were certain they'd gotten away with it. They were certain they got away with murder, and they went right back to what they were normally doing, which was petty crimes, if you will, compared to what they had done.
But it's Erica's freaky fetish for Hooters memorabilia that leads to their arrest. Just as they were hightailing it out of town, the couple makes one last pit stop to break into a closed Hooters. They trip the store's silent alarm. Police rush to the scene of the lead. They've just caught 2 burglars, not 2 thrill killers. Erica's defense attorney, Arcangelo Tominelli, says, after Erica was caught, she flipped out at the crime scene.
When they were arrested coming out of Hooters, she became very panicky and asked the police officer for some Xanax that she said she needed that was very possible.
And that moment broke the case wide open.
So the officers oblige, but they're going to look through the purse first. In doing so, they see 5 rounds of spent rounds of .38 ammunition, and next to that is 2 identification cards for Virginia driver's licenses for our 2 missing people. At that point, the hair stands up in the back of your neck.
Erica and her husband Benjamin were charged with murder, and each pointed a finger at the other at their separate trials. But in the end, Erica was sentenced to life in prison plus 20 years. Benjamin was handed just 38 years because he was never convicted in Joshua's death. The jury believed Erica killed him.
I think she's the mastermind behind all this. I think, he was the muscle. He did what she asked, and he took care of business, if you will. But she was the cause of all the drama.
The Sifrits marriage is certainly forged in hell.
Child molesters do not deserve to live. They got exactly what they deserve. Had to do it over again, I'd kill more.
This is Jeremy and Christine Moody, who were all smiles as they stand before the judge for their sentencing in Union, South Carolina. No, they are not exchanging vows. They're already married.
They're nuts.
They're also neo-Nazis who were found guilty of first-degree murder, the killing of Charles Parker and his wife Gretchen. The Moodys targeted Parker, who they did not know, after seeing his address in a sex offender state registry. The couple also believed God wanted them to eliminate all sex offenders. Surveillance footage from the Parker home helped police locate the killers, as did Jeremy's tattoos, including skinhead written across his neck, white power top his head. When the couple were questioned, they didn't deny their guilt. In fact, they both not only confessed, they told authorities they planned to kill more sex offenders.
Had to do it over again, I'd kill more.
It made me mad. They lied about what they did. Took someone's life the way they did it. Nobody should die like that. Nobody.
The Moodys pleaded guilty to murder, kidnapping, and burglary. And in court, they're asking Judge Lee Alford for mercy, as well as the minimum sentence of 30 years in prison.
Your Honor, not a day goes by that I don't regret this happened. And I know that what I've done is a sin, and I believe that God has forgiven me of it. Please have mercy on Christine and I so we can still have a chance to grow old together as husband and wife.
Next, it was Christine Moody's chance to plead for forgiveness.
The Bible clearly states thou shalt not kill. I'm sorry I broke that commandment, but I truly believe God has forgiven Jeremy and I. I hope you will too. Your Honor, please see it fit that Jeremy and I are sentenced to the same sentence of 30 years. Never kissing my husband or feeling his touch again is my very worst nightmare. Please give
After taking in their words of remorse and request to remain together, it's now all up to Judge Alford.
Brutally killed these two people. They had no way to defend themselves or anything else. And I tell you that I believe that if these two were to get out of jail, I would be concerned that they would do exactly the same thing again. I don't have any question. I think it is a case that justice deserves and demands a life sentence.
After hearing their sentences, the murderous couple share a final kiss before they're separated. But as they exit the court, whatever remorse they tried to convey has quickly disappeared.
That's what child molesters get.
Outside the courthouse, the Moodys continue to express their true feelings.
I think Jeremy and I would have done it again if given the opportunity.
Do you have any regrets?
I have no regrets. Killing that pedophile was the best day of my life.
What about not being able to see Jeremy?
Jeremy and I have a love that will withstand me.
What about what you said in court about repenting? Is that not true then?
No, it's not true. My lawyer made me say it.
Do you have anything to say to the victim's family?
May they die also.
Jeremy and Christine Moody were both sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole.
I'm appalled and disgusted by what I've done.
This is Dea Millerberg. She is in Ogden, Utah for her sentencing. 3 years earlier, Millerberg, her husband, and their 16-year-old babysitter, Alexis Rasmussen, were sharing alcohol, marijuana, and prescription drugs while engaging in sexual activity at the couple's home. The partying ultimately turned deadly after Eric Millerberg injected the 16-year-old with her third dose of heroin and methamphetamine, causing an overdose. Eric Millerberg, a convicted felon, allegedly feared he'd be sent back to prison if they alerted authorities. So the couple drove Rasmussen's body to a remote area and buried her in a shallow grave. Alexis Rasmussen remained a missing person for more than a month, until a tip from a confidential informant led police to her body and back to the Miller rooms. Following the couple's arrest, Dea made an agreement with the prosecution to testify against her husband in exchange for a reduced sentence. She pled guilty to obstructing justice, unlawfully acquiring prescription drugs, and desecration of a dead body. For 3 years, Millerberg's been allowed to live free out on bail and was able to regain custody of her infant and elementary school-age child. But now at sentencing, she's facing up to 15 years in prison. Before learning her sentence, Millerberg turns to face the victim's family.
You may address the audience just now.
I just want to say that I'm appalled and disgusted by what I've done. I've hurt your family in a way I can't fix. You're in my prayers, and I hope one day you'll be able to forgive me, and that God will bring me peace. Your Honor, I'm not going to make excuses for what I've done. I think it would only make things worse. I have no way to express the magnitude of grief that I feel for Alexis' family for what I've done. But I take responsibility. And thank you for just letting me say my piece.
It's now up to Judge W. Brent West to make a decision.
The bottom line is, Ms. Millerberg, that I do think that prison is the appropriate sentence in this particular situation. I realize that 3 years of allowing you to rebuild and your family and everything of that nature, and then to come in and say, okay, Judge, you're going to destroy that. But I take these cases as I find them to be. I didn't have any control that it took 3 years to bring this to trial.
Judge West was asked by Millerberg's attorney to consider probation over prison, but he has much to consider.
I have to balance society's the need for punishment, the need for rehabilitation, and with all due respect, Ms. Millerberg, sometimes it's not about the defendant. Thank you. But sometimes you do such acts that are such extreme and so heinous and depraved, burying this young girl's body and hiding it from the police. You've got to balance that, and you have to put it all in perspective. It's going to be the order and sentence of the court that you're to serve 3 indeterminate terms in the Utah State Prison of 0 to 5 years. I will recommend that they run concurrent.
Dia Millerberg ultimately served 4 years and 2 months in state prison. As for her husband, Eric Millerberg, he was convicted of child abuse homicide, obstruction of justice, unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, and abuse or desecration of a body, and was sentenced to 6 years to life in prison.
I have sinned. I am aware that for my crimes, anything short of death is really merciful.
This is Jonathan Hearn. He is in Bakersfield, California for his sentencing. The 27-year-old pleaded guilty to manslaughter in the death of Robert Lyman. Hearn killed the victim because he was having an affair with Lyman's wife, Sabrina, and the two wanted to be together. The Lymans were part of a local swingers club, and at first Lyman was okay with the affair. But when Lyman later asked his wife to stop seeing Hearn, she and Hearn put a plan into action. Instead of a divorce, Hearn went to Lyman's workplace and, seen here in the surveillance video, and shot the father of 2. Hearn was arrested and charged with murder. But the state also wanted to charge Sabrina. Hearn agreed to testify against her to avoid a possible life sentence.
She was somebody that stood out to me automatically as having a real magnetic personality.
When you used the word affair, you were having sex with Miss Lamont.
Yeah, it was a primarily emotional affair, though we were hooking up from time to time. We talked about things that I would say normal people who are dating or going out probably wouldn't discuss.
Eventually, the couple began discussing ways to eliminate Lyman.
It definitely turned from humor into something that actually began to materialize.
After reviewing the evidence, a jury found Lyman guilty of murder, conspiracy, and being an accessory.
When Jonathan said that my brother was mortally wounded, it just broke our heart. And then he, for him to go and shoot him again, it just unsenseless.
A month later, after Hearn pleaded guilty to manslaughter, he goes before Judge John Brownlee to learn his sentence. But first, the former firefighter has a few things he'd like to say to Robert's family and his dear friends.
To Robert's family and his dear friends, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for stealing your brother, your friend. I'm sorry for the effects of my pride and lust and anger. I'm sorry for my inexcusable involvement with Robert's wife. I'm sorry for the grief that I caused to Robert's mother that broke her heart. To the 2 children whose dad I took away from them. I'm so sorry. I cannot deserve your forgiveness. I am aware that for my crimes, anything short of death is really merciful. By the grace of God, I am what I am.
It's now up to Judge Brown to determine the sentence.
To be ordered that the defendant serve 25 years, 4 months in prison.
3 months later, Sabrina goes before the same judge to learn her sentence.
As to count 1, murder in the first degree, probation will be denied and the defendant will be sent to the Department of Corrections for 25 years to life.
Lyman won't be eligible for parole until 2036, when she would be 56. Because of his guilty plea, Hearn is eligible for parole in 2028, when he would be just 38 years old.
And it's very hard. Mr. Rodrigues, this is a horror.
This is Larissa Rodrigues, inside Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court in Cleveland, Ohio. Judge Nancy Margaret Russo is about to impose a sentence on Larissa Rodrigues and her boyfriend, Christopher Rodrigues, for something unthinkable, the death of her 5-year-old son, Jordan. One night, Christopher brought the boy, who had developmental needs, to his mother in a semi-conscious state. She gave him a cold shower and put him to bed. The next day, the child was dead. But instead of calling 911, the couple covered the child in blankets and bags full of mothballs and buried him in their own backyard. Nearly 2 months later, after a tip from Christopher Rodrigues' brother, police arrive at the home.
sure if anyone's inside.
Are your kids here? You mind if you step in? We got a call on us to check on the well-being of the 4 to 5-year-old.
All my kids are good.
Okay. What can we see? Do you have a child with special needs?
Oh, Jordan? Yes, I do.
How old is Jordan?
Jordan, he is just turned 5.
Where's Jordan at?
He's with his dad. What was the call mainly about?
Just checking the welfare.
She tells police Jordan's in Texas with his father, but she can't provide a phone number to reach them.
So Jordan has family members in Texas?
Yes, yes.
All right. Do you know any numbers or how to get in touch with anybody who actually lives in Texas?
I mean, right now, his phone just got disconnected.
What's his address?
He just had his phone disconnected. He's going to be calling me with the phone.
She's just lied to police. The following day, police returned and confirmed the tip from Christopher Rodrigues' brother, who said the boys buried in the backyard.
It was Christopher's idea to bury your son in the backyard?
It was my idea, and he just did it. Just because I didn't want Jordan to be far away from me, I just wanted him to be close. I was not ready to let Jordan go.
Larissa Rodrigues and her boyfriend are charged.
You think I don't feel guilty for that? You think I don't? I do, okay? And you're making it worse.
The couple enter into a plea deal. Murder charges are dropped in exchange for pleading guilty to involuntary manslaughter, felonious assault, 2 counts of child endangerment, and abuse of a corpse. Judge Russo sentences Larissa Rodrigues first.
The court imposes sentence as follows. Counts 1, 2, and 3 to be served consecutive to each other and concurrent to the sentence imposed in count 5 for a total sentence of 25 years.
But before sentencing Christopher Rodrigues, Judge Russo is compelled to make a statement.
And I look at these photographs, and it's very hard. Mr. Rodrigues, this is a horror. I know as a judge I'm not supposed to show emotion. And in 22 years, I never have. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Whatever this child's life was supposed to be, you made sure it didn't happen. You and Larissa. I didn't even hear you say you were sorry. I will not accept the recommendation for Mr. Rodrigues.
Prosecutors and defense attorneys had agreed to a recommended sentence of 20 to 25 years. But for Judge Russo, the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
These crimes are horrific. You had every opportunity at so many points to make a difference, to get help, to call the police, to ask for help, to try to take him to the hospital. I have to imagine that at some point you got on the internet and said, how do I bury a body? Because this is unbelievable to me. The level of meticulousness that you went through to not be discovered. I honestly don't know how you live with yourself. I don't know how either one of you live with yourself.
And with that, Judge Russo sentences Christopher Rodrigues.
Your sentence is follows. Total sentence of 28 years. It's the maximum sentence available.
Judge Russo goes 3 years beyond the recommended maximum the attorneys had agreed upon. Rodrigues appealed the ruling, but it was upheld. He and Larissa Rodrigues are currently serving their terms in separate locations in the Ohio prison system.
I'm sorry for, acting immature on the road. I understand that, being on the road, you do have other people's lives in your hand. And, I should have thought about that.
This is Cyrus Matthews. He was in court for misdemeanor charges stemming from a road rage case.
As well as is there any way that we can reverse this jail time?
Well, you're going to have to go to jail today because you need to get out and attend the hearing and consider furloughs. Okay, but right now you're going to go to jail then. Okay? You have to go to the hearing. No, hey. Call the police. Have him charged with escape, felony escape if he doesn't get back in this court.
Matthews' girlfriend follows him out. There seems to be a moment of hesitation here on Matthew's part. We now know it's the bailiff trying to reason with him, explaining that his escape will lead to felony charges. To no avail. Now the Wadsworth police take over. Matthews is way ahead, reaching speeds of up to 90 miles an hour. Officer James Walser receiving updates. Matthews has crashed into a white SUV, seen just off the road there.
Where's he at?
That's Matthews' car there.
We're gonna have multiple vehicles, airbag deployment. Ma'am, are you okay? Okay.
The passengers are a couple and their infant child.
She's okay. All right, we got squads coming.
Thankfully, they have non-life-threatening injuries. Officer Walser hustles over towards Matthew's car across the road.
I'm gonna need multiple squads. I need help, sir. Okay. Okay. Sit tight.
You can hear that Matthews realizes he's made a truly horrible decision. Matthews and his girlfriend are extracted by the Wadsworth Police Department and taken to the hospital. Matthews is charged with aggravated felonious assault for injuring his girlfriend and the occupants of the other vehicle. He was sentenced to 425 days in jail. His girlfriend is not charged. This is Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari, a religious farming couple living in Cedar Springs, Michigan, and they are charged with murder of their 10-month-old girl, Mary Welch. Reportedly, they told police they noticed the baby was skinny and underweight, but did not seek medical attention because of their religious beliefs and mistrust of medicine and the government. This is the 911 call of the father when he reportedly found his child dead.
How long ago did you find this child?
It's about an hour and a half. I was waiting. I called my lawyer first thing to ask, what's the next thing I could do.
So you found the child an hour and a half ago?
Yeah.
And called your lawyer first, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you had contact with the child?
Last night, yesterday afternoon, about 3 p.m. She goes to bed, and that was that.
Okay, so you put her to bed yesterday at 3 p.m.?
Yeah, and then this morning at 10.
So you're saying it's normal for your children to sleep from around 3 p.m. till 10 a.m.?
Usually about 9:30, yeah.
And you said when you found her, she was already believed to be deceased, right?
Yes.
And that's when you consulted with a lawyer?
Yep.
Do you believe she was beyond help already?
Oh yeah, she was dead as a doormat.
Soon after, the autopsy revealed that the cause of death was malnutrition and dehydration due to neglect by the adult caregivers. And this is the moment they realize they will be spending the rest of their life behind bars.
Charge called homicide, felony murder. It is life without parole. The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree, where they're alleging you knowingly or intentionally caused serious physical harm to a child. They're talking about this Mary Welch. It is a felony, possible penalty of up to life imprisonment or any term of years less than life.
This is Erica Butts and Shanita Cunningham. They were both charged with homicide by child abuse in Somerville, South Carolina. Butts, who was best friends with the child's mother, was supposed to be caring for the toddler for 2 weeks. The child was only 3 years old. She died from her injuries, reflecting weeks of torture, a time frame that matched the time she had spent with Butts and her lover at the time, Cunningham.
What must have been the excruciating sounds that came from that child is more than disconcerting to this court.
After both women were found guilty, the judge now hands down their sentence.
The court finds it appropriate that each be sentenced to the State Department of Corrections for a period of life.
They were just sentenced to life in prison. Butts and Cunningham are reportedly at separate prisons serving their life sentences.